Hello there and good morning. So, sleepy Joe Biden the betrayer bears grudges against those that hurl hurty words his way. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. The US President Joe Biden deserves every criticism for his atrocious handling of this whole Afghanistan affair. He's the boss, even if it's just on paper, so the buck stops firmly at his White House desk. And it should also be obvious to everyone by now that Joe Biden has no control over anything, to the point that UK cabinet insiders have been quoted as calling Biden Gaga and doolally. This has reportedly upset baffled Biden, with a US source telling the Telegraph that us Brits should be careful because what's been said is offensive and he will remember it. He actually has a long memory. A long memory? Give me a break. In a recent press conference, he forgot the name of his FEMA director, Deanne Cresswell, despite having talked to her just moments before. He'd have to be given a reminder list every morning to tell him who he's meant to be upset with today. Then he'd promptly fall asleep. It's also obvious that he's being handled and told not to talk, except from a script, and no ad-libbing or answering questions. Answering questions is a big no-no, especially where events in Afghanistan are concerned. The source also said that if anyone ever says anything bad about him, Biden doesn't speak to them ever again. I'm surprised he talks to anyone at all then. In fact, you have to wonder what Biden's advisors are thinking as they sit there trying to coach him for his next public appearance and assessing whether he's up to it today, or maybe it's more hiding in the basement time. And then there's the claim by the Telegraph source that the president is not gaga, he's actually picked up his game quite a bit since the campaign. That's a classic one. If crumbling into a fetal position in front of the world's press after a disaster of an operation and refusing to answer questions is upping one's game, then what was he like earlier this year? And what's the source saying? That we're not allowed to criticise a US president's obviously bad calls? What are we meant to do? Watch the shit show, then clap like demented seals saying, "Well done, Mr. President." But just last year, throwing all kinds of abuse and accusations at the US president was the only game in town, wasn't it? But Trump took all that in his stride. But now we have the person in the suit that sits in the White House coming out for a press conference, making a statement, then abruptly leaving before the press can even ask a question. And in the latest of these I've watched, he actually said to the press, "I'm not supposed to take any questions, but go ahead." And when the reporter said, "Mr. President, on Afghanistan," he just cut her off with, "I'm not going to answer on Afghanistan now." He then turned around, looked a bit confused, before shambling out of the room. And some people could be heard applauding him. Then there's that moment he sat talking with the Israeli PM Naftali Bennett in a White House meeting, and Sleepy Joe appears to just nod off. Senior moments are occurring all over the place with him. Befuddled Biden is meant to be the US head of state and the commander-in-chief of its armed forces. So who's telling Joe Biden what to do and when to not answer questions? And all those that supposedly supported Biden when he got elected are now either very quiet or they're saying that it's all okay because the other option was Donald Trump. What they're probably really thinking is that they'd better nurse Joe along for the next 3 years, or they'll get cackling and complicit in Afghanistan Kamala Harris. And I gather the Biden team is being forced into playing dirty in its attempts to fend off an ambitious Kamala attempt to move into the White House. This is a real "the king's got no clothes" moment in history. Everyone knows Biden's faculties are failing, but everyone pretends otherwise because the alternative is too terrible to contemplate. The US Constitution is designed to be the strength of the US, but it is now proving to be vulnerable where one of the presidential candidates in a race to the White House receives zero scrutiny or worse from the press while they gang up on the other one. Or worse, where the press, aided and abetted by social media, actually tell massive porkies and bury bad news to influence the outcome. And I won't tell you what I think about the actual election. And now they're stuck with trying to keep this whole Biden presidential charade on the road for the next 3 years. Good luck with that one. So what's your opinion on Joe Biden? Please like and comment below.